What the fuck is that? Oh! Okay. Shay! Jalen, you're doing great. Chet, can we be a bit taller? You're a tall man. Shay, could you come here, please?
Yeah.
You doing good? Doing good? You seem
Yeah, they keep hitting me. They keep hitting me.
Oh. You gonna be good?
I think so.
Getting a foul?
They're fouling me though.
They are?
Yeah.
I'll talk to the
every
refs.
time.
I'll talk to the refs. All right, boys, let's lock it up. Jared, good TikTok. I see that. I see that. And one. Hey, and one. What do you mean a foul on me? I wasn't even doing anything. What do you mean?
Thank you. Thank you.
What do you mean? He was.
Thank you.
Thank you, T. Foul. Can't touch my baby boy Shay. Hands. Too close to the chesticles. Too close to chesticles. Nah, that looked like basketball. That looked like basketball. We don't do that shit here. Foul. Foul. You know mama no raise no foul. Foul. Your hands were all swimming in his lane. Can't do that. Can't do that. Flight ball.
Hey, Shay, you suck!
Foul. Shade of line. Who said that? Who said that?
Fuck you, Shay.
Hey, Mom.
Hey, hey. Hey. That's a foul.
And one. Can we get this man a soda?
Shay to the line.
Hey, ref.
Foul. 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 Foul.
Have you been injured on the job? Have you been on the opposite side of coaching malpractice? On organizational incompetence? Well, Elliott Frayne is the way to go. That's right, Elliott Frayne Injury Law, with free consultations unless you win your case, in addition to years of experience on the other side. Elliott Frayne is the way to go. Reach out to Elliott Frayne Injury Law, as you can find in our descriptions, if you need help with any workers' comp cases here in the Midwest. Without further ado, here is the Fan Project.
Welcome in, everybody. We got ourselves a fan score episode coming up here with the finalysis of the Seattle Sonics, or SuperSonics, I should say. Yeah, I mean, right now they're the Sonics until they actually become a team again. Then they're the SuperSonics.
I was thinking the other day, what if instead of the SuperSonics, they came back and it was like the Seattle Amazing Sonics.
Oh, that'd be
They're like
so
the
gross.
Seattle, like,
You gotta be the same.
great Sonics.
The Ultrasonics.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Ultrasonics.
That's probably a better one.
The premium Sonics. We had to kind of figure out how we want to do this week when it came to the finalysis, because it's kind of like an interesting team to do, because technically they're still not in existence. So there's no, like, games for us to watch. I mean, you can go on, like, previous team history, but, like, it's, you know, there are certain categories I think we determined that players and star power, we can't really do anything for that. We can try to assume maybe players they would get, and go from there. And then team performance, we kind of have to also just give them a 5 for which almost feels high. Just and
It's
certain.
neutral.
It is neutral, but it is like other teams we've given like ones and that sort of thing. So you are getting a little bit of a bonus for
Because they suck to watch.
I mean,
At least
true.
right now, if they sucked, I don't have to watch them.
That's true. So, but we can do all the other categories like history and lore and all that stuff. So we're gonna get right into it. So without further ado, the Seattle SuperSonics Fanalysis starting right now. So to start off, I'll get us started, man. The first category being team performance. Now, with team performance, as we said, easy enough. It's going to be 5 and 5 each, right? Nothing to say about that. I mean, we got Kevin Durant when they were playing as a rookie, and so that is always the thing that I go back to when it comes back to the Seattle SuperSonics. But that is a quick 5 each for Cullen and I. Secondly, well, let's kind of knock that second one off then. Players and star power.
Players and star power, we're doing this based off of what you would assume of an expansion draft team. I actually have something kind of fun for this. The other day I was looking at projection, or like a projection of like somebody had like who they think will be drafted by the two teams. The number one name I saw on there, which is so interesting, and I could see it, was Ja Morant.
Oh.
Ja Morant has been horrible, and he is signed to a massive contract. So really, the Grizzlies would probably love to get him off their books. So he
Interesting.
easily could not be protected.
And I would assume that he probably just doesn't, right now, is not invoking a lot of trade-like offers
None.
coming their
I mean,
way.
none.
Interesting.
None. So I think that's interesting. And it would be interesting to see if one of these new teams would want Ja Morant to be their, like, leader.
Yeah.
It's like, it's be so funny.
I feel like you probably just still take him as whatever star power you can get. I mean,
Dude,
he's still
his contract is bad.
I know, but like you're going to be a failing franchise for the first however many years from an expansion team.
Dude,
I mean, you're
I don't
bound to
know.
be bad, right?
I think I would find it hilarious if they didn't protect him and then he also didn't get drafted, which I could see it happening.
The other
today.
person was Zach LaVine. But it was one like the top
Yeah.
people. But if that's one of your top people that you can take from the
Dude,
pool,
again, I think you're thinking of name value. I don't.
No, but I'm saying they were doing a mock draft, and he was number 1 on one of the teams, and I was like, if that's number 1 as an option,
It's bad.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
with that being up in the air and kind of having an idea potentially who's going to be available, John Morant, Zach LaVine, I gave it a 3.5, I believe. I think 3.5. I almost feel like I should go down, but I went 3.5.
I went 3, so same thing.
Okay, we were similar. Okay, so 3.5 star power. Why don't you get us going on?
No, I want you to go.
history and
next.
lore.
Yes.
Okay.
No, this is fan base and community.
Oh, fan base and community. Technically, there is no fan base right now. Like there's an old fan. There's 2 fans right here. There's 2 fans right here. That was my tough part. It's like, can I go based on the fan base from when they were fans? Like they wanted them in Seattle, at least like certain people. I don't know. I didn't want to like go fully disrespectful, but at the same time, they're not. There's no really existing fan base, but there is. So I went 4.
4.
I give it a 4.
All right, I'm gonna blow your freaking mind here.
Okay, go for it.
Fan base and community for the Seattle SuperSonics, 9.5.
What the fuck? What are you
9
talking about?
9.5.
What are you talking about?
The Seattle fans, you know who they show out for an insane amount?
Who?
Their soccer team.
Okay.
What is the nickname of their fan base for the Seahawks?
The 12th man? Or
Yeah.
yeah.
Because they go nuts for their teams. Dude, I'm telling you. Also,
Okay.
the logo, the Seattle SuperSonics, like old logo, people love. You're going to have a lot of NBA fans that might just, if they don't like their team, like I could see a lot of people switching to the Seattle SuperSonics.
Yeah.
And that city is going to show out for the SuperSonics when they're back. They're probably going to have the best, unless because their stadium, I don't know what their stadium seating capacity is going to be. They're going to have the most fans there in a year, the first year. Like, it is going to be nuts. And Seattle already goes nuts for their teams, dude. The 12th man, like, dude.
You said 9.5?
9.5. For sure.
That feels like
Because Seattle fans were crazy before they moved away. Any team that has left their city, there's been no, like, massive pushback that has been other than, like, the SuperSonics. Like, they're the best. I mean,
I feel like I know what's going on here. We're not having another Cavs episode, or what was the team that I went low on, and like you said, I was disparaging them and like that.
No,
sort
I'm
of
not
thing.
doing that.
He's giving you a 9.5, so when you become a team, you're on his side, and it's not fair.
It's because the
It's
Seattle
not
fans
fair.
show out for everything.
No, and I get that. It's just for specifically this team. I just thought it was just surprising. You can obviously have it at a 9.5. I did not. If you had me guess what you were gonna do, I almost would have thought you were gonna go the opposite. Like, oh, they don't exist, so I'm gonna go whatever. But that's an interesting take.
Not at all, man.
I never
Not
thought
at all.
about that. Then we have ourselves history and lore. So the history and lore that you went over on that. It was kind of what you're reminding me of some other history where it's like it's interesting, but is it good? So I gave it because it was an interesting history, and I think that it elevated a little bit that they might be coming back. I gave them a 4.5.
Okay.
And it's just because what team is there? I don't think there has ever been a team that has been moved and then came back again, right?
Yeah, Charlotte.
Charlotte. Oh yeah, that's right. Charlotte Hornets. Yeah. But I mean, just rare to see that. So the fact that like they would be coming back, I think I'm interested in the history and even the future history of it. You know, so I think that's why I put them around 4.5.
I gave them a 7.
7.
Okay. Because they won a title. You can't be under 5 in my book if you won a title. They won a title in 1979. They had really good teams. They had really good teams in the 70s. They were not very good in the 80s, but then they also had really good teams in the 90s. And they were even good throughout the 2000s. Like 2005, they were really good. So they've had really good teams. Obviously, part of the history is that they left, so that's what keeps it a little bit down.
Okay.
But they won a title. They made the finals again and lost to Michael Jordan, but a lot of people did that.
Yeah,
so.
that's. I feel like the shared heartbreak in that, and so many players throughout the years too, that are like, "Oh, we lost to Jordan, dude.
Yeah.
Tell me about it."
Yeah, literally.
No, and I did forget about the championship, and because then I think I started
before
thinking
this,
about
I
everything
asked
else.
Brian. I was like, "Do you know enough about the Seattle SuperSonics to do this?"
I'm like,
fan
I
score?"
know what you taught
And I was
me
kinda
and that
like,
sort
I
of thing.
think
Like,
he does.
well,
really.
and it's been a hot minute,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, and because of the generation in which we live in, it's kind of tough to like remember, like really feel a connection to that either. But then the last category, organizational competence. Do you want to start with
I'll
the
go.
last one?
Yeah,
Okay.
I gave it a 6. Because I feel like really like, yes, competence-wise, they got their team moved, but the city had a lot to do with that because they didn't want to pay for the stadium.
Right, you said
So,
with the taxpayer dollars.
If they had been willing to pay for the stadium, they might not have moved. So it's like you can't like fully like. I know a lot of people didn't like Howard Schultz. But yeah, so I give it a 6 because you gotta. They're not around right now, so you gotta kind of think of like everything that's happened.
Yeah.
And again, they won a title. They had a good team, so.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like my scores are slightly skewed because I did forget about the championship.
Yeah, but
So,
you have to do what you got to do.
So I gave him a 3.
Okay, yeah.
I
I knew all your scores were gonna come out super low in this.
Yeah, because I think for me, it just went back to like in the history that you were teaching me, and like and again, my brain I think focused on less of the championship route and more of the fact that like if you're a team that got got moved to another city and like you couldn't sustain your market and that sort of thing, like and a lot of it had to do with taxpayer dollars and all that other
Well,
stuff.
it's the stadium.
The stadium,
Their stadium was half the size of an NBA stadium,
so they couldn't really profit.
No, I mean you can't fit food stuff, people
And
seats wise.
Some people would say organizationally they should have figured that out, so I gave them a 3. I don't know. I feel like I should have given them a higher score because of the championship, but I put 3. So that was my score.
I just think a lot of it had to do with the politicians in Seattle at the time. A lot of people did a lot of things to try to keep the team there, but not Clay Bennett. He did not try.
Yeah.
But
yeah, overall, that means I think I brought my score to a total, if I remember correctly, I think I'm at 20. So I think that might be potentially either my lowest score or one of my lowest
30.5 is mine.
30.5. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's probably our biggest disparity in
For sure.
in scores
For sure.
yet. Let's just see kind of how they compare. So right now, guys, again, this is going to be our final team of the regular season as we move into...
Do we have the graphic?
Yeah, I got the graphics. So here it is. We have ourselves a comparison of all the teams you should be seeing come across the screen that we've had since the inception of the fan project. So you'll see kind of as the teams come up as well, our top teams. And yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, Seattle SuperSonics, obviously the most disparate, like kind of different scores you can see. But I'm going to be very curious to see what happens in playoffs. And I think you and I have been talking about maybe a different way that we could do the playoffs potentially. And so we'll keep you, obviously, you'll have to watch for the next
I'm interested
draft.
because I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, no, because I think we talked about like different ways of how to do it, of like, because it's obviously just the playoff teams, but I'll be curious of who we get. But I feel like technically we did draw Oklahoma City Thunder this week.
We did. Have we talked about them very much?
No need. However, I feel like because we drew them, we should at least show our fan scores. And we don't have to go through all the fan scores or anything like that. But let's put up the graphic again, and let's see, where did OKC fall in our total fan score? That makes sense. But with that being said, guys, playoff basketball for the fan project coming up next week. Let's go. Woo!